Hello friend, welcome back to Live Study channel. Today I'm going to discuss Autosar concept, introduction of Autosar, architecture, so many topics I will cover in this video. So let's start. First question is, what is Autosar and full form of the Autosar? So basically the Autosar is open system architecture, is an open software with standardized architecture which is developed by automobile manufacturers, suppliers, and many tools developed. The Autosar enable the use of a component-based software design model for the vehicular system and design. Okay. And full form the Autosar means automotive just wait automotive open system architecture. The full form the Autosar. Autosar. So scope and extendabilities. So scope means Autosar decided to automotive means Autosar means open is decided, it dedicated, not decided, it dedicated for the automotive electronics ECU. ECU means electronic control unit. Electronics control unit is full form the ECU. Okay, and such ECU have the full form have the following properties, means strong interaction with the hardware, sensor and actuators, connection to vehicle networks like CAN. Okay, CAN, LAN. CAN means communication networks and LAN means link to network, and flash array Ethernet. Microcontroller typically in a 16 to 32 bits with limited resource of the computing power and memory means between the compare with the enterprise solutions. Compare enterprise solutions and real-time system program execution from internal and external flash memory. Another one is, you can note down in a notes, like notes means in the Autosar sense and electronic control unit means ECU, one microcontroller plus peripherals and the according software configuration. The mechanical design is not in the scope of the Autosar. This means that if more than one microcontroller is arranged in a housing, then each microcontroller requires its own description of an Autosar ECU instance. This sounds what means ECU instance means Autosar extend to the ECU instance. Okay. Another point is Autosar extendability. The Autosar software architecture is a generic approach, means standard modules can be extended in a functionalities while still being the complaint. Still their configuration has to be considered in the automatic basic software workshop configuration process, and the non-standard modules can be integrated into Autosar based system complex driver. I am discussing in the next slide is a complex drivers, okay, services, basic software, okay. In the further layer will cannot be added, and you cannot add the more layer, okay, because system is just three layers means microcontroller abstract layer, okay, abstract layer, secondly ECU abstract layer, and third one the service layer. There are three layers, okay. And then you can include in complex driver. So remember it, just discuss in a slide, okay. And next point is Autosar architecture means automatic open systems software architectures means the distinctions on the highest abstraction level between three software layers. I am discussing in the previous video the three software layers, okay, layers in this controls. First one is the application environment basic software, just three, and this one, two, and three. Which platform you can run on this platform means microcontrollers, means which run on microcontroller means application layers, runtime environment, and software, basic software run on microcontrollers, and also basic software divided into the 3 to 4 layers, divide into the 3 to 4 layers. Means just I am discuss means service layer, ECU, abstract, microcontroller, complex. Okay, complex. So basically application layer, runtime environment, RTE. Okay, service layer, ECU abstraction layer, microcontroller abstract layers, and totally depend which run on this platform, microcontroller and complex layer, right? And also the basic software layers are further divided into functional group. Functional group. For example, service are system, memory and communication service. So I am one by one I am discussing means system services, memory services, crypto services, onboard communication services, and service communication services. And onboard drives abstraction, memory hardware abstraction, crypto hardware abstractions, wireless communication hardware abstractions, communication hardware abstraction session, and then input output hardware abstraction and complex drivers, and also the microcontroller drivers, memory drivers, crypto drivers, wireless communication drivers, input output drivers. So basically the subdivided into the following types of these means input output standardizers. Abstraction means access to sensor, actuator and ECU onboarding peripherals, right? And memory means access to internal externals, non-volatile. Which type of memory using this one? Non-volatile memory using. And crypto standardization means the crypto standardized access to cryptographic primitive including internal and external hardware, accelerators. And communication means communication standardized access to vehicle network system, electronics control units on board communication system and electronics control in the software, both in hardware and software. And off-boarding communication services, access to vehicle to X communication in vehicle wireless network system, electronics control unit, off-board communication system, a system provision of standardizer, open operating system, timer, errors, memory, and ECU, specific ECU standard, state measurement, watchdog, manager, service, and library functions. So in a drivers, which type driver is a complex driver, microcontroller drivers. So one by one, a driver contains the functionality to control and access an internal or an external device. Internal devices are located inside the microcontroller. Okay, microcontroller. For example, for internal device are internal EEPROM, electronics programming, read-only memory. Okay, read-only memory, internal CAN controller, internal ADC. A driver for internal device is called internal driver and it is located in the microcontroller abstraction layer. Where is located in? This one. Where is located? Just wait. No. Located on this session. Located in this session. Okay. So a driver internal external device are located in ECU. ECU, this one. External ECU, hardware outside the microcontroller. For example, external EEPROM, external watchdog, external flash. A driver for a external device is called external driver and is allocated in the electronics control unit abstraction layer. It is accesses the external device view the drivers of the microcontroller abstraction layer. This way also components integrated in a system basic chip called SBC like transceiver and watchdog are supported by the Autosar architecture. Autosar architecture. For example, a driver for an external EEPROM with SPI interface access the internal EPROM, view the handler and receiver for the SPI bus. And also the exception occurs means exceptions means the drivers are memory mapped external device. For example, internal flash memory may access the microcontroller directly. Those external drivers are allocated in the microcontroller abstraction layer because they are microcontroller dependent. Then move on. Another point is microcontroller abstraction layer. One by one, I'm just architecture of microcontroller. Microcontroller means there are three parts. One is microcontroller abstraction layer, ECU abstraction layer, abstraction layer, service layer, RT runtime environment layer, application layer, complex driver. Okay. So microcontroller abstract layer. The microcontroller abstract layer is the lowest layer of the basic software. It contains internal drivers, which are software modules with direct access to the microcontroller and internal peripherals. This type of task means make a higher software layer. Okay, depend or independent. Independent of microcontroller. Just call MACsec. MACsec means microcontroller. Where is it located? Micro on this one. Property implementation means microcontroller depend upper interface and standardized, and microcontroller abstract is dependent and independent on microcontroller. Remember 2 points. Another point is, I think I have already discussed, means a microcontroller of 6 layers. Okay, and the basic software contain the internal and external drive, access the microcontroller and peripheral discussion, right? Next layer is electronics. electronics control unit. Electronics control units abstract layer means ECU layers. What is ECU layer? Means the electronics control abstract layer interface the drivers of the microcontroller abstract layers. It also contains drivers for external devices. It offers an API application programming interface for access to peripherals and device regardless of their location. Location means microcontroller internal and external, and their connection to the microcontroller port pin means which type of connections means this time is like a port number, pin, any interface connection. Task using them make a higher software layers independent on ECU hardware and depend upon hardware layout and properties in microcontroller independent, ECU hardware dependent. Upper interface is a microcontroller and ECU hardware both are independent. Just ECU abstraction, just definition. Okay. Another point is a complex driver. The complex driver layout span from the hardware to the runtime. RTE, runtime environment. Means to provide the possibility to integrate special purpose functionality, for example, drivers for device which are not specified within Autosar with very high timing constraints or for migrate purpose etc. In a property implementation means there might be application, microcontroller and ECU hardware dependent, might be application and microcontroller and ECU hardware dependent. This one dependent. This one is dependent. My writing is not good, but I am trying to write very well. So then is the most important point is the service layer. Okay, microcontrollers abstraction layer, electronics control unit abstraction layer and the service layer, and also discusses complex drivers. So the service layer is the highest layer of the basic software, which also applies for its relevance for the application software, while access to the input-output signals is covered by the electronics control unit abstraction layer the service layer offers. So the operating system functionality, vehicle network communication, measurement services, memory service, which are memory service? NV RAM management, diagnostic services, including DUS communication, error memory and fault treatments. Electronics control unit statement, electronics control unit state measurement, mode measurement, logical and temporal program follow monitoring this type of the is called services. Means so many services including in this session. And the task is provide the basic service for applications means runtime environment and the basic software modules. In this session also to provide the means based on this one is means RTE runtime implementation and application also based on this one application layer. Mostly microcontroller and electronics hardware both are independent and microcontroller and electronics hardware independent. Remember it. Okay. Another point is runtime environment. So the runtime environment is a layer providing communication service to the application software means Autosar components and the Autosar sensor actuator components. And one more thing, this one is called service layer, electronics control unit abstraction layer, and microcontroller is called in basic software. Remember it. Basic software. Okay. So the runtime environment is a software architecture style change from the layer to component styles. Component styles. So basically runtime environment changes the component style and designing. So the Autosar software component communicate with the other components inner and intra electronics controllers means inner and intra electronics control units. And also the service view the service via the runtime environment. Service accessing from the runtime. Without runtime environment, you cannot access the services. Make the Autosar software component independent from the mapping to the specific electronics control units. The electronics control units and the application specific generated individually for each electronics control units. The completely an RTE means runtime environment. RTE independent in ECU electronics control units, this platform and this one, right? Another question is COM. Okay, COM stack. So COM is communication stack. The word COM is standard for the communication stack and Autosar architectures. It is a layered architectures communication stack provide the vehicle network communication. It is also defined as a software stack that provides some communication service to the basic software. Basic software means service layer. In a basic software means service layer, ECU layers, and microcontroller abstract layers. Okay, and modules and many applications layers in Autosar. It is a part of the basic services, and there are three Autosar communication stack modules. Three modules means first the service layer module, M means microcontroller, M call means also the microcontroller, and ECU, electronics control means abstract layers. So in this one means, and also in a divide means service layers means there are different means system services, memory services, crypto services, off-board communication services, and this one means microcontrollers. Microcontroller drivers, memory drivers, crypto drivers, wireless communication and network communications. So COM is basically the network and wireless communication provides. So ECU is a better option. ECU is provided this type of the communication layers. Okay. So my next topic is one are remaining in this system architectures means application layer. Application layer will discuss in next video. And also discuss is in a CAN vector in next video. So don't miss this video. Thank you so